Hi, this is an update, follow-up from a video I did in which I encouraged people to sign a petition in order to allow trans people to have their gender legally recognised without paying extortionate amounts of money. Unfortunately, the government rejected this petition. Anyone who signed it will have had a reply email. I thought I'd share that email with you now and see what you think of it. Also, I have a few opinions to offer on it. But here it is. The gender recognition process in the Gender Recognition Act of 2004 was developed as a result of the government's commitment to allowing trans people to gain legal recognition in their acquired gender. The gender recognition process. The general procedural requirements for gaining gender recognition were developed as a result of the government's commitment to allowing trans people to have taken decisive steps to live fully and permanently in the acquired gender to gain legal recognition in that gender, by establishing a robust and credible process to determine applications for recognition. The provisions are contained in the Gender Recognition Act of 2004. A person's gender has important legal and social consequences. It doesn't go on to say what those legal and social consequences are. I can add really little to this because I'm quite ignorant on just about any legal issues, and I'm not the most sociable of people. The only social consequences that spring to mind are that non-cisgendered people are treated quite horribly for simply being themselves and being honest. That's the only social consequence that I can think of, is the ignorant bigotry of others. As for legal, I'm ignorant on the issue, unfortunately, so there's little I can say there, but I'll continue reading anyway. The state has a legitimate interest in ensuring that people who take on a new legal status can establish that they meet certain criteria. The required statements and evidence are limited to what is necessary to establish that an applicant meets the criteria for recognition. There are no requirements for a trans person to apply for legal recognition. It is entirely a personal decision. Many trans people live and work in their acquired gender without feeling it necessary to apply for legal recognition. However, an application for gender recognition should only be made where a person has made a permanent decision to change their gender. I'm a little confused by that because at the beginning of it says there are no requirements for a trans person to apply for legal recognition. And then at the end it says an application for gender recognition should only be made when a person has made a permanent decision to change their gender. Obviously, if they haven't made that decision, they're going to get rejected. But I don't understand. I think that contradicts itself. Maybe I'm being stupid. I know I'm not the brightest of people, and I've probably misunderstood it. I have a problem understanding things at times. Anyway, we'll continue. The Gender Recognition Panel, a judicial body, determines the applications for gender recognition, and an applicant must prove to the satisfaction of the panel that they meet all the requirements set out by the Gender Recognition Act. The requirements for applicants going via the standard route are that the applicant has or had gender dysphoria, has lived in the acquired gender throughout the 2 years immediately preceding the date on which the application is made, intends to continue to live in the acquired gender until death. Applicants must also provide medical reports from a qualified medical professional who works in the field of gender dysphoria, giving details of their diagnosis of gender dysphoria, and a GP or surgeon detailing any surgery or treatment that the applicant has undergone to change their sexual characteristics. I don't know if I really understand that last part, change sexual characteristics. I understand what they're saying, but I think it could be worded better. Or maybe it's just me. And now I think about it, I don't know how it could be worded better. So it is probably just me being foolish again. We'll continue though. In addition, applicants must provide documentary evidence in the form of an original or certified copy of the birth certificate, an original change of name document or documents, documentary proof that the applicant has lived in their required gender throughout the preceding 2 years. If the panel is satisfied that the applicant meets all the conditions in the Gender Recognition Act, they must issue the applicant with a gender recognition certificate. It's not that simple though, as it goes on about fees, and this is what hinders a lot of people. It is quite normal for people to pay for a whole range of services. For example, passports, birth and marriage certificates, driver's licenses, applications to the civil courts for a variety of issues. Given the cost involved in administering the gender recognition process, applications for gender recognition also carry a fee. This actually made me realise something I was completely ignorant to. I had no idea you had to pay for a birth certificate, because it's not something I've ever discussed with any parents, and I'm not a parent myself. So I was completely ignorant of that. I thought they were just issued the day you were born. Shows what I know. I had no idea you got to pay for a birth certificate. At present, the application fee stands at £140. I think that's wrong. From what I understand, you also have to pay for a lawyer to go over the application once you've filled it in. So it costs a lot more than £140, because as you know, lawyers are not cheap. Anyway, so as to ensure that nobody is excluded from gaining legal recognition in their acquired gender, remissions and part remissions are available to those who are unable to pay the full fee. Traditionally, a large percentage of applicants have been exempt from paying a fee. That's something I've never come across and nobody's ever told me about. So that's brought up something I didn't know. And then we go on to gender identity clinics. Current service provision in England is network-based, shaped around 7 adult gender identity clinics, 3 providers of adult genital reconstruction and surgery, and 1 designated provider of gender identity development services for children, adolescents and young people. Each gender identity clinic delivers services in compliance with contemporary generic service standards for their discipline that respect the specific needs, values and dignity of transgender people. In England, people accessing gender identity services have a legal right under the NHS Constitution to be seen within 18 weeks of referral. Now, I have one of the worst memories of anybody I know, but when I was referred, I'm almost certain it took longer than 18 weeks, and I seem to remember it being about a year. But I could be wrong, because I do have, as I said, one of the worst memories in human history. I was actually tested when I was a child, and apparently I have a 3% visual memory, which is about the same as a goldfish. So I could be quite wrong on this, but I'm almost certain it took more than 18 weeks. Maybe it was just me though. Now this bit is the bit that actually got me quite angry. It's the bit at the end where they go on to talk about non-binary gender. Listen to this one carefully. Non-binary gender is not recognised in UK law. Under the law of the United Kingdom, individuals are considered by the state to be of the gender that is registered on their birth certificate, either male or female. I'd like to point out that nobody chose that assumption. You know, they're born and then somebody else decides that that person is then either male or female, without allowing any say, because, you know, when you're a baby you don't get to speak up for yourself. Well, you can't, but to have someone who doesn't know anything about you instantly make an assumption that becomes legally binding is quite bizarre, I think. Under the Gender Recognition Act, the Gender Recognitions Panel is only able to grant a certificate to enable the applicant to become either male or female. The panel has no power to issue a certificate indicating a non-binary gender. We know non-binary people exist. I have gender fluid friends. I have a friend who is friends with somebody who's agender. Unfortunately, the government doesn't want to treat you like an equal human being. And this is the end bit here. The Equality Act of 2010 protects people from discrimination if it arises from their being perceived as either male or female. Why? Why only male and female? We're all human beings. And if it's an Equality Act, it should be there for all of us in equal measure. We recognise that a very small number of people consider themselves to be of neither gender. We are not aware that that results in any specific detriment, and is not government policy to identify such people for the purpose of issuing non-gender specific official documents. So that's the email. It's highlighted a few things for me. I might put a link at the bottom of the video, because I got something from within this email that lets you view replies, and I think you can add your own thoughts and opinions there as well. So I shall do that. Bye for now.